You could be my silver spring, blue and green colors flashing. Hey guys, so this is the my American Horror Story review, and it's gonna be real quick because I don't have much to say because it was not okay. I was here for practically the whole flippin' season, and every episode pretty much always gave me life. But this last episode, I felt like they were just trying to wrap things up and may have a quick fix because every episode would always just like slap me in the face and I'd be like, whoa, that was great, and want to talk about it with my friends and stuff. But this one, I'm just like, the only thing that's going to keep me talking about this episode is Silver Spring and Stevie Nicks' um, performance in the beginning. See, that's what allowed me to appreciate this episode. They cheated because I'm a big fan of Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks is one of my favorite female, to be honest, she's a female, but one of my favorite female songwriters and artists. And Fleetwood Mac has are the musicians of one of my favorite albums. They're not my favorite musicians, but they are my favorite. One of my favorite albums that I feel like you can listen to from beginning to end is Rumors, and I've gone through periods where I've listened to that every day, waking up and everything, especially when I used to work in a coffee shop, and I would just blast that shit. So that is my stuff, and I also am emphasizing this because I have found a lot of bloggers, and y'all been coming for Stevie in some of your blogs. Like, oh, I don't know who she is. I don't hear her voice. Okay, listen, her voice does not sound as good as it did before, but she don't have to sound good for y'all because she already paved the way. So just look up her shit on YouTube or something. Look up some old performances. Look up her lyrics because her lyrics stand alone for themselves because they are powerful, they are poetic, and they are profound. And they are the sound of a strong woman who's been through some shit. And, you know, when you listen to it, you can either listen to it for the artistic purposes or because you want to get your life right and you were going through some shit. And that's what good music does, okay? So, please do not come for Stevie. She is an amazing artist. And she's an amazing songwriter at that, which is something that we are lacking. And I'm not saying we're lacking it in terms of independent music or music that you don't hear on the radio. Yeah, I'm about that. But guess what? Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks were on the radio. You probably have heard their songs in your parents' car and shit, and you just didn't know it. But they were around at a time when you could be a good storyteller and writer and be fucking talented and be on the mainstream radio, and people knew who you were. So stop coming for Fleetwood Mac and Stevie. I don't know. That's my boo. She can sing. And not that she can just sing, but I mean, I understand what's happening now. She sounds way different, but her lyrics stand alone for themselves. But her lyrics have a lot to do with one of my favorite scenes in the episode, which is with the Cordelia and Fiona, which is Silver Springs was going off in the background after Cordelia and Fiona had their conversation. And I felt like it was just a beautiful, beautiful effect because if you know that song, or if you don't, you can look up the lyrics to that song or listen to the song. It is just like exactly what Cordelia feels about Fiona, and maybe even vice versa, how Fiona is going to, what Fiona is going to understand about her relationship with Cordelia and other people in her life when she's in hell with the Axeman, contemplating things, Time casts a spell on you, but you won't forget me. I know I could have loved you, but you would not let me. I'll follow you down to the sound of my voice. It still haunts you. You can't get away from Cordelia 'cause she loved you. That's not really in the song, but not the last lyric, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Tell me, is she pretty? I don't want to know. Look up the lyrics. Like, there's so many parts of that song that fit that situation so freaking well. I'll pretend that I love you. just great. And that you didn't love me, no. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Another thing that really, really bothered me about this ending was also with Misty. That was one of my favorite witches, and she was a good witch. And I think they did her dirty by having her disintegrate in the land of hell with whatever that voodoo Satan dude is. And, you know, because she didn't do anything but bring people to life and bring things back to life. And she was like, you know, I would have preferred a better twist on it, on the story, if like Misty had gone to the land of the dead, and the land of the dead for her was like more like her heaven, and her heaven would have been like some environment from like Bambi or like a Walt Disney movie, and she would have been like Cinderella and Belle, and there would have been like birds flying around and bunnies hopping around and baby foxes that she's petting and Bambi and flowers in a field like the sound of music. And then she would have like her Fleetwood Mac shawl on, or Stevie Nicks shawl, and she'd just be spinning, and like the lyrics would just be playing, or maybe Stevie Nicks is in her heaven. She's laying in the field with a guitar. You know what? And she's like, you know, singing Dreams. Beautiful you. That's not actually Dreams, but that's a different song. You make me happy with the things you do. Ooh, you make loving fun. But yeah, she would have been like listening to like a cheerful Fleetwood Mac song or a Stevie Nicks song. And she would just be spinning. And then everybody back in the real world would be like, Misty, wake up! Misty, wake up! You know, and Cordelia would have been like, wake up, Misty! And then she would have just been spinning and spinning and spinning, you know, to like, you can go your own way, you know, some shit like that. And then she would disintegrate it because she was lost in heaven, and heaven called her. Why couldn't it be that? Why couldn't it be that? Like, she didn't deserve to go get stuck in hell cutting up a dissected frog. That's not cool. And it's like, what? All witches have to go to hell if they die? Or, I mean, it's just like, were they just doing an exercise and they had to go to hell? I don't know. But maybe that's exactly what it is. But it would have been a way more cuter twist if she would have got stuck in Misty heaven. You know, spinning around in a field of animals and furry things, and Stevie on the guitar, playing a song. You know what I mean? Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. It would have been awesome. But I digress. Then I would say, you know, to wrap it up, that's all I really cared about. The fact that Stevie Nicks was on the show so much, and her music was everywhere, was the reason I didn't throw my TV against the wall and go, what a sham. I wouldn't have really done that if it didn't happen, but still it's true. And basically, I understand, like, all these weak-ass characters that I didn't really care for because they annoyed me most of the season, you know, finally came back and did what they were supposed to do in the last episode, but I feel like all the other characters that carried the show kind of like got like a very hasty exit, you know, except for Myrtle. Myrtle got to go up epically and just like, ah! And her beautiful red dress looking fabulous, but that she was the only one that had an epic exit, you know, and I mean, Fiona didn't have an epic exit. She had a, they played on my heartstrings with that one, so, you know, that's what they did. So, I mean, I guess I'm satisfied with that. I also wasn't surprised, because I knew that Fiona wasn't going to just die like that. That was one person I thought was like, maybe that's why they kind of got rid of Madame Larue and Laveau and, you know, and Nan and all these other characters and Misty so easily, so that we could think that they would do the same shit to Fiona. But I knew that Fiona being the Queen Supreme and her, you know, being Jessica Lange wasn't just going to, like, not have a fucking appearance in the last finale. So I knew something was going to happen. But, I mean, I was just expecting it to be more like boss, you know what I mean? So maybe, like, you know, they're leaving it open-ended for another Coven. I mean, if that's what it is, then I accept everything, because, I mean, I was here for this show. I watched American Horror Story before, but this was my favorite American Horror Story, and I was drawn to it because of the witches, because I love mysticism and anything about, like, you know, history with, like, you know, women's history, and, you know, I'm not going to get all into it, but y'all actually should probably read the book. I think it's called Nurses, Witches, and Midwives, and it's a very, very good book that was written in the 70s, I believe, and it's about, you know, the whole witches phenomenon, and what is that really based on? No, it's called Witches, Medicine Women, and Midwives. And I don't know if you know this fact, but do you know that 80% of the women burned at the stake back in the day because they were accused of witches were medicine women and midwives? Yeah. Makes you wonder, huh? Yeah. So, that is that is my take on it, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. You know, I really really like this episode. I will be your only dream. It's gone. No more Coven. And why were there way less episodes than all the other seasons? I don't get that either. This is a good show. It's just, you know, I'm sad. I haven't had this feeling about a show since like or the Witches or whatever, since The Craft when I was younger. As far as shows, no, I've enjoyed plenty of shows that I hated to see end, but this one just seemed just so short-lived. But I definitely enjoyed this Coven, and the next American Horror Story better top it, because you know what, you've raised the bar, Ryan Murphy. So you better do good on your next season number 4 of American Horror Story, and you know what, you better make up for the finale sucking. Because it wasn't really that good, and you cheated. You used Stevie Nicks, and you know, for me, of course, I'm not gonna hate it if you use Stevie Nicks, but if you didn't have that bitch in there, I would have said there wouldn't been much for me to say about it. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the American Horror Story. If anybody is watching this and they want to have their comments, I'm more comment and let me know what you think, because you know, I'm curious what people thought about the episode. I don't know if it was just me, like, is it just me, or were other people thinking the same thing? But I felt like they could have done so much more, and it seemed like they just were just trying to wrap it up and make it real hasty. You know what I mean? Besides Cordelia getting her eyes back, because I didn't want to look at that shit anymore, because I was like really hard to look at. It's I like Zoe and Queenie. I guess I like Queenie a little bit, but like, I wasn't left with my favorite boss bitches. And I guess maybe I don't like the evil ones. But if Misty was still there, or if she had a better ending, I probably would have been happier about it. But I'm trying to think. That's all I really got to say about it. You know, I'm glad Cordelia found her power. I'm glad that she figured shit out. You know what I mean? Because that was good for her, because she was getting on my nerves being weak all the time. All right. Bye.